Hello, thank you for joining us for the 6th active movement session. Today's session is all based around fine motor skills, so our hands, our palms and up towards our elbows as well, just introducing some basic fine motor tasks. Now, like all of our active movement sessions, these are for people with movement disorders, so they would be most suitable for someone who's had a stroke, has MS, a head injury or cerebral palsy, any physical disability like that will really work for these sessions. They're all about using your body as best you can to get as much movement as you can. So it's not about doing everything just as I do it, but it's about doing something at your own body's level and to your best abilities. One thing I will say before we start is that do please check with a medical professional that it is okay for you to follow an online movement session, just to make sure that it's safe for you to do so. And always please make sure you're working within your own abilities. You know your body best, and listen to your body as you're working to find out what you should and shouldn't be doing and what's too much or too little for you. Anyway, getting started, as I said. So we're working with our hands and our arms. So we're going to work at the table today. Now, before I bring the screen closer into the actual table, I just want to mention a couple of things about that sitting position. So it's fine to work at a wheelchair with a tray if that's your preferred position and if you need support to sit. If you do so, I might recommend you remove maybe lateral supports or any shoulder supports or chest straps a little, loosen them if you can't remove them completely, just so you have a bit of freedom of movement across your body and with your arms, so you can move them as much as possible in the space. Similarly, if your wheelchair has a tilt to it most of the time, do just try and bring it upright if you're able, or as close to upright as you can, to try and make sure you're sitting up, engaging your whole body in this activity. And that's really the point. If you're free sitting on a chair, as I am, then what's really important is making sure that your feet and knees and your back and your bottom are all in a really good position. So whilst we're working with our hands, we mustn't forget what's going on under the table. So we must make sure we've got a really solid grounding with our bottom right back on the chair, shoulders back and head up. And we must correct that as we go along. If you're in your wheelchair, that means making sure your feet are nicely on your foot plate and facing in the right direction and so on. So that's really important to being able to use your hands properly, is making sure that your sitting is steady and secure before you start. The other thing today, we're only using one piece of equipment other than obviously the table and the chair, which is our long stick. We've used it in other sessions. A broom handle will work, a rolling pin will work, anything you can kind of get your grip around. Reasonably long, because we want it to be shoulder width apart when we're working. But yeah, anything like that, a piece of doweling essentially is all I'm using, will work absolutely fine. So I'm going to come a little closer in now so that you can see my hands clearly whilst we're moving. But as I said, I won't let you forget what your feet are up to, and please keep checking the lower position underneath the table as well. So before we do anything else, in fact, I'll pop off to just one side, we're going to start with a nice sitting position. So that means look down, check your feet are flat, check that your bottom is right back in your chair or wheelchair, your back is straight, hands down on the table, and if you're able to open your fingers, do. If you're only able to keep them slightly open, that is fine. If your arms are very flexed quite a lot of the time, then just trying to bring them a little further forward than you usually would is a good start. And then I'm just going to demonstrate the sort of optimum position we need. So I put my hands down, my back is straight, my feet are flat and my head is in the middle, and I sit straight. I sit straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. So let's just start as we always do, getting some nice deep breaths of air into your lungs so that your body's got lots of oxygen pumping around and you're energized, ready to get your body moving as best you can. When we do this, we're going to try and keep this lovely sitting position, but when we breathe out, we're going to lean forward just a little bit, okay? So we're breathing in through our nose with our lips closed, and then out through our mouth with our mouth open, okay? So close your lips, breathe in, and breathe out. Close your lips, breathe in, and breathe out. Last time, breathe in, and breathe out. Lovely. Okie dokie. So just correct that sitting position again if you've lost it at all. I realised I didn't lean forward and backwards then when we were doing that task. But if you can do, if you can't, don't worry too much about it. So we're going to start holding on to this stick. Now, just be careful that when you take a grasp of the stick, what's really important is trying to get your own hand actively to take a grip on the stick, but also that you wrap your fingers around, keeping them in line, so trying not to get your fingers crossed in this sort of position, and also that your thumb stays out. What we don't want is your thumb pulled underneath here, which is really common, a difficult thing for a lot of people with a movement disorder. But what we want to try and do is bring your thumb out. Here is okay, and right out here is even better. And lastly, what we want to try and do is just have a little bit of a twist in your wrist. So what we're trying to avoid is that downwards position of your wrist. And in fact, pushing it upwards slightly is better. So very gradually leave the stick on the table and trying to get a hold on it by yourself. So if that means lifting your hand and trying to put it on there, that's what we want to try and do. Lots of active movement with your whole body and controlling it. Trying not to lift your own hand onto it or have someone do all of that lifting for you. Trying to initiate that movement yourself. So I hold onto the stick with both hands. I hold onto the stick with both hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. And then all we're going to do to start with is we're going to bend our elbows, bring the stick to the edge of the table, and then stretch our elbows and bring it away from you. What we're not trying to do is lean forwards and backwards when we're doing this. We're just trying to get the movement from our shoulders and from our elbows. And be careful to keep your elbows tucked in next to you. We're trying not to get them coming out like chicken wings. We're trying to keep them close in and your shoulders down. So I bend my elbows and bring the stick back. I bend my elbows and bring the stick back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I push the stick away. I push the stick away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bend my elbows and pull the stick back. I bend my elbows and pull the stick back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I push the stick away. I push the stick away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bend my elbows and pull the stick back. I bend my elbows and pull the stick back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I push the stick away. I push the stick away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. Please be aware that if your amount of movement is only very small, then that is absolutely fine. What we're trying to achieve with all of these movements is as much active control as we can. It's not about the range of movement being huge and pushing beyond your limits, but it is about controlling and keeping control and coordinating those movements for yourself. So that's fabulous. Well done. So this time we're going to bend our elbows, but what we're going to do is we're going to bring the stick up towards our chin and then down again. So what you do need to make sure at this point is that your elbows are on the table, still keeping those wrists and hands and fingers in a nice position and keeping them, I should have mentioned before, shoulder width apart when you're doing this. And before we start, just check, because it might have changed, if your feet are flat, your bottom is back, your shoulders are straight, head up, and I sit straight. I sit straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. So I bend my stick to my chin. I bend the stick to my chin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a really good reminder to keep your chin lifted as well. And I push it away. I push it away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I bend the stick to my chin. I bend it to my chin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I push it away. I push it away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Really nice. One last time, bend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very nice. Okay, if you now let go of the stick, really concentrate when you're letting go on telling your fingers to loosen and open your palm to let go. It's really important that what you don't do is just pull the stick out of your hand or have someone else pull it out of your hand. You may need help to pull it out, but the movement has to come from your hand first. So I loosen my grip, I loosen my grip, I open my hand, I open my hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Super. And then if you just pop the stick out the way, because we're not going to use it again, now we're just going to work with open and closed palms and things like that. So we don't need anything else on the table. So just first of all, opening your hands as wide and as flat as you can. You should be able to see what I've got here is I want my hand to be as flat as possible. So I want you to try and get as much contact with the tabletop or the tray with your palm as possible throughout your whole hand if you can. I appreciate you may find it hard with bunched fingers and things like that. That's fine. Give yourself a little time to loosen them down if you wish. And really trying to, again, pull that thumb out of your hand so it's not pulled in underneath. That's the really important position. We don't want this position at all. What we want is, at the very least here, preferably right out here as I'm demonstrating. So we're going to just bring our hands into a fist and out again. And when we bring our hands into the fist, the important bit again is keeping your thumb out of that fist. Okay, so we're not pulling it inside. So we'll do it with each hand in turn. And then what I'll do is I'm going to bring it a little faster as we go along. If you're able to keep up with that pace, do. If you need to keep it at the original slower pace and just do one hand at a time, that is absolutely fine. Bear in mind, I'm going to demonstrate that this is my right hand and this is my left hand, so that the mirror image you see, you can copy on the screen. Okay, so I make a fist with my right hand. I make a fist with my right hand. 1, 2, 3, and I open it. I open it. 1, 2, 3. I make a fist with my left hand. With my left hand. 1, 2, 3. I open it. I open it. 1, 2, 3. I make a fist with my right hand. My right hand. 1, open, 2. My left hand closed. 1, open, 2. Right hand closed. 1, open, 2. Left hand closed. 1, open, 2. And then the last level, to make it even harder again, I close my right hand. 1, and I change hands. I change hands. 1, 2, 3. Change. 1, 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3, change. 1, 2, 3. And if you can go even faster, change. 1 and 2, change. 1 and 2, change. 1 and 2, and stop. Lovely. And then bring yourself back into a sitting position, nice and straight. Like I say, don't worry if some of those were too fast for you. Even if you are just gently opening one hand and closing one hand and getting some movement within that hand, that is more than good enough. It's all about trying your best and getting your body to do something today. So do not worry if it's a little bit advanced for you. So, like I said, correct that sitting. Make sure your bottom's still back on the chair. Your knees are in line. Your heels are down. Your toes are pointing forward. Your shoulders are back. And I sit straight. I sit straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to turn our palm over and back with each hand. Now, again, it may be difficult for you to completely turn your palm over like so. What we might expect is just a little rock up onto the side of your hand. You might be able to get it to there, Just see how far you can go. What you must be aware of is we don't want to twist into that turn in order to get your arm turned. So you need to keep yourself sitting straight, but just turn your hand. So better that your hand goes less far, but you don't turn to twist it further. So keeping yourself straight, that's really important. But trying to keep, if you can, your palm open and your thumb out. So I turn my right palm over. I turn my right palm over. 1, 2, 3. And I turn it back. I turn it back. 1, 2, 3. I turn my left palm over. My left palm over. 1, 2, 3. And I turn it back. I turn it back. 1, 2, 3. And then we'll go slightly faster if you're able to keep up, but carry on at that pace if not. I turn my right palm over. 1 and back. 2. Left palm over. 1 and back. 2. Right palm. 1 and 2. Left palm. 1 and 2. And then a little faster again. Right palm over. And I change hands. Change. 1 and change. 2. Change. 1 and change. 2. Change. 1. Change. 2. And stop. Lovely. When you're doing that, if you're able to do that changing position, what you're really trying to work for is trying to make both of your hands move at the same time at the same speed. So what you're trying not to do is move one and then move the other. You're trying to get a nice smooth movement over each time. And if you're able to get your thumbs down on either side, then that's brilliant as well. Okay, so I'll just show you that one more time with your right palm, turned over, and change. 1, change. 2, change. 1, change. 2, change. 1, change. 2, and stop. Lovely. And then last but not least, correct that position again. Check that with all this moving, you haven't tilted your shoulders, hunched them forward, lent your body slightly out of that middle position. So hands down on the table, shoulders back, head up, neck nicely lengthened if you can. And I sit straight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lovely. That was really good. Well done. That's a really nice short little program just for warming up your hands and your upper body a little bit. Any of the tasks we did in, I think, week 1 with sitting, free sitting positions for your arms, any of those tasks and head and neck tasks would also be a great addition to this little program. So feel free to kind of pick and mix different activities. This is a really good thing to do before you start doing any fine motor activities. So before you cook, or before you sit down to play a jigsaw, or before you're doing some writing or typing, it will warm your palms and your hands up really well and really kind of engages your brain with your body and your hands in particular. So thank you for joining in. Thank you for taking part. Hopefully you found it useful. Please make sure you let us know if you are enjoying the sessions, if you're finding them useful, if you're finding them tricky, and what you'd like us to do next. We'd love to hear from you. Please share with anyone you know who you think might benefit from the sessions. And we look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.